Hello, everyone. It's me, Angie. I'm back again with another wonderful kind of cafe podcast kind of style. Today, I have bumped into my friend Billie Coleman, the owner and founder of Mineral 29 Organics. And so we're going to talk to her a little bit about, I know, you're probably saying in your head, all right, skincare. Okay, let's talk about some self-care here. We're going to really dive into like, how is skincare like together with self-care. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And you know that I like to deep dive a little bit in a person's background, like what drove them to be in this space and creating and how it just looks for Billie. So thank you everyone for tapping into our podcast, Joining for Self-Care. As always, a part of Liberate and Lather. So thank you, Billie, for joining me today. How
Thank
are
you so
you?
much, Angela. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. I know you are a busy mom and or running a business and just buying out that time to meet with me is really special. So thank you.
Thank
So
you.
I'm gonna just dive in a little bit. So we have a wonderful company you have here, Mineral 29 Organic. So before we deep dive into that, like what drove you to start making products in general? Did you just start with a skincare line or did you graduate to it?
I gradually went to it. So I started actually looking at hair products because in the area that I live, I cannot find products for my hair, and so I needed something, and so that's kind of where I started at. I started creating for my hair. But I guess it kind of goes back a little further than that because health has always been kind of on my mind ever since I was 18 or 19 or so. I had terrible acne, and so I thought at the time, once I got into my 20s, that it would subside, and it did not. It just kind of, stayed consistent. I was just consistently getting cystic acne, just all over my face. It was terrible, and so I didn't really focus too much on the skincare aspect though. Even though at the time wasn't really affecting me emotionally as much. Um, and then, a few years later, I lost my father to cancer. And that's when I started really looking into taking care of my body. Because one of the things that the nurses had told us after our father had passed was that we need to take care of ourselves because we are now predispositioned for cancer. And so that's when I started to really look into taking care of myself internally, not just, how I looked, but just how I was feeling. And that's when I started looking into acne because I was still getting my acne outbreaks, and I just thought it was maybe something I was eating, and it was. It was in relation. I was having an allergic reaction, but it was so much more. I didn't realize that my hormones had been so unbalanced for so very long, and so in this journey of trying to take care of myself and take care of my skin, and then eventually trying to take care of my hair. Um, I found that there were different things that I needed to do. I needed to start using better products in order to take care of my health. I needed to start eating better in order to take care of myself. Doing detoxes or whatnot. Really uh, being in a really focused on what my body was feeling whenever I ate anything or whether anything I did or even my thoughts, what I was thinking. Just kind of being more in harmony with what was going on with me. And so in that process, I stumbled upon, I was taking a certain medication. And this medication required me to get rid of all products that I was using. So, like shampoos, conditioners, perfumes, body washes, anything like that. It said get rid of it all and just use a bar of soap for your hair and your body, and then use an oil for your hair to moisturize your hair. And when I read those instructions, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that, you know? Um, but I wanted to take this medicine, so I did it. And I noticed the change first in my hair. I couldn't get over how my hair had changed just by
Mm,
simplifying that. And so I was like, "Oh my goodness, more people need to know about this," you know? And so that's when that that's when I started to create different things. I started to create just like a straight butter for the hair, and then I started to make bars, shampoo bars,
Mhm.
and that's when that those were my first two products, and that's when it just kind of took off from there. So it started out as Lioness Beauty Collection, and now it's Mineral 29 Organics. So kind of went from hair to skincare. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and this is a whole conversation too that can happen around, African American women, and their hair.
yeah,
It starts like this journey, and then with also your business. Sorry to hear about your father. That out of all of the pain and dealing with your own grief, like you start to fold into like how can you live better, and then now it's blossomed into this beautiful business that you have, and so it's really heart centered,
yes,
the business that you have made, and that's
yes.
very wonderful. So it's a solid business that you can trust.
Yes, exactly. It's out of caring because I understand what people are going through when they are dealing with the acne aspects and the cystic acne. I understand that physical pain. And more as social media became more popular, and now, your face is everywhere. You've got pictures and you're posting and there's videos and everything. That the emotional distress that comes with having bad skin. And you don't, if you haven't had bad skin, you don't quite understand it. But it's kind of like when you have a bad hairstyle and that distress that comes from it. You got a bad haircut or a bad dye job or a bad perm, and that distress and that embarrassment, and you're just so self-conscious now. And that's how it is with acne, because not only are you now in physical pain, but you're all in emotional pain because you're like, I know if this person's talking to me or they're looking at a picture of me, they're staring all at this, all this right here, And it's really is. And so I didn't want others to feel that way or to continue to feel that way. And so it's, and of course, digging deeper into what causes, that cystic and that painful acne, it's all internal. It's all about what we're doing to ourselves physically. And so I just wanted to help people, to kind of educate people to what is going on within ourselves and also what we're feeling because, we're having this internal issue and now it's showing itself externally. And it really just it takes a toll. It
Hmm.
really does take a toll on us. And so I wanted people, I wanted to reach out to people and help them get to where they don't feel like that anymore, you know.
Hmm.
And it's because it's hard. It really does affect a lot
Hmm.
of what you do. It affects you a lot. It
Hmm.
really does.
Thank you for sharing that. And so that ties into self-care because you know many people that I speak with on the podcast are women that have their own businesses, and you know and what's going on inside is like you said, it's happening on your face now, and you have to show up for a podcast interview and it's being recorded, or you show up for somewhere and they need to have pictures of yourself. And if you don't, when you have a business, confidence is a thing that always gets pricked at, that inner critic or just outside forces always will pick at that self-confidence. And
Yes.
so that's right, we have a business here, Minerals 29 Organics, that is all about knowing like the backstory of
Hmm.
what it feels like to not be happy about your skin, and you've
Yeah.
developed a formula that can help people with that, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Hmm.
it's I just it's tough not having that self-esteem. And I can even speak from recent experience because I had okay, so I'm going to talk about how bad my diet was in November. There's something about this change of season where all common sense towards my diet goes right out the window.
Yes.
And it's so funny because this is things that I've been telling people about. You got to watch your diet if you're struggling with acne, you're acne prone, you got to watch your diet. Well, my diet went right out the window.
Hmm.
So it's just salt and sweet. Just that's all it was. So November. And my skin held up. My products were holding things together. And then beginning of December, just my hormones went. It's just like,
mhm,
ah, and it just, and I had an outbreak just from chin to, one side of the chin to the other and along my jawline. And it's like, oh my goodness. The first day, they were popping up. It's like, okay, I've been through this before. I can deal with this.
mhm.
And then, the next few days, they still kept popping up. I'm like, I can deal with this, but, after the fourth or fifth day, it's like, I can deal with this,
Yeah.
because it's getting to where it's like, I can't, it's like, I have a skincare company. I can't, my
Mhm,
chin exploded like this, but it was all in the hormonal zones, in my
mhm,
chin, on my jaw, all along here. And so it's like, oh, that self-esteem, boom, it just took a hit right there. Because as my body's purging all these toxins out of my
mhm,
system, it's just, I mean, what every day, boom, boom, something new, something new. And I touch a part of my face and it hurts. And it just, I mean, that was tough. It was a tough 2 weeks of, waiting for this just to get itself together, and working with my skin, putting on, being gentle with it, but applying the things that I need so that it can heal and go down. And it what healed and it went down and the inflammation went away. But I'm still with the scarring because unfortunately there's still the scarring that's left behind. So now I've got to deal with the scarring again. And so it's like that 1 month of insanity when it came to my eating has set me back emotionally, you know? It set me back emotionally and it set me back physically because I spent so much time taking care of my skin, fading those blemishes, then boom, I'm right back to where I was 2, 3 years ago. And so that caring for our body, it takes a while for our body to get to go crazy, because of the our diet. It does. It really takes a while. It's not just like a one-time thing. It takes a while of just disregarding what our body is saying to get to the point where, for my skin to just explode like that. And so just being aware, self-care involves being aware of what our body is telling us. Sometimes our body is telling us don't eat that or don't do that or don't, it sends us all these messages. We just have to be aware of what our body's trying to tell us because it says, you keep doing that. I'm going to hurt your feelings, you know.
mhm,
And so, it's just that self-awareness, taking care of ourselves.
mhm.
It's so important because the ramifications of not can go to the extreme if we don't take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
So,
And I appreciate you being very transparent because you are the professional um, mastery in your game, but at the same time, it's just life happens, and imperfection, right?
yeah,
I mean, around this time, everybody's talking about sweet potato pies and the brown sugar and the oozing and the
yeah,
pumpkin spice lattes, and it's
yeah,
just like, I mean, come
yeah,
on. It's
yeah,
like it's very hard to not, and then you go places and people got platters of this out and that out, and
yeah,
it's just everywhere. So yes,
yeah,
it's very hard sometimes to resist that. We're also living in the midst of a pandemic. We all have
yes,
our emotional things going on, and sometimes a little
yeah,
sweet, sweet, be like, a little soothing. It's like a weighted blanket, right?
yes,
Sometimes, you know?
indeed, yes.
And
Indeed.
your transparency and all is saying, yes, even the person that's behind the scenes making the things can have moments where we slip back. But the thing is that you've recovered and you're in the recovery of fixing that,
Yeah,
and you have the things
that's
to do it.
it. That's it.
So, yeah.
That is it. Yeah. That I'm grateful for. So it's like that's kind of what I want to tell people when it comes to, acne prone skin. Unfortunately, you're always going to be acne prone. That's just the way it is. We're always going to be acne prone, but as long as we take care of ourselves, take care of watching what we eat. We can indulge a little bit. We don't have to be super strict, but just being aware of what we're eating and the signs that our body is telling us. Our
Mhm.
body, my body was telling me, you don't need to eat an entire bag of potato chips. You could, you don't have to, my body was sending me the signs, but because it wasn't showing on my skin, I was like, oh, I'm good. I
Mhm,
wasn't good.
mhm.
I was
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
So it does take a toll. It does take a toll on us.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So besides mixing and coming up with formulations and being behind the scenes and keeping everyone's skin looking good, do you have any other hobbies that you do?
I also do singing. I teach voice lessons, teach
Mhm,
singing lessons. That I enjoy very much. It's draining, it's
mhm,
tiring.
mhm,
But I do have that. I have a singing course because I'd like for people. There's this joy of seeing people find their voice, and I'm not saying, I'm not that good where I can teach people who can't sing how to sing. No, I'm not good. I'm not good like that. But it's taking people who are shy about their voice, who have a good voice but they're shy about it, so they hold it back, they kind of keep it to themselves.
mhm,
There's such a joy when hearing them break out, and I actually had one student, when she accomplished something. I can't remember if it was she had hit a high note that she didn't think she could before, and she goes, "Oh!" and she started to cry, because
mhm,
she didn't think she could do it. And there's
mhm,
so much joy in seeing that confidence
mhm,
build in them about with their voice, because there's people that have been told, please don't sing around me,
mhm,
or have their voice has been made fun of. There's like,
mhm,
oh, you can't sing, when they could sing. It just needed a little tweaking here and there, you know.
mhm,
And so to see them gain that confidence in their voice, it's really, really cool. So
mhm.
I enjoy doing that. It is draining, and but but I enjoy it because it's that seeing that progress being made and seeing
Mhm,
them build in their confidence. It's so cool. I just enjoy it so much.
mhm. I'm glad you said that because I got a little emotional, and everybody can tell I get my nose turns red. I do not even know
Oh,
why it does
oh,
that. But when you said that, because um one, before we even started, because I forgot, right? I used my essential oil called One Voice.
oh,
I put that on. That's like so
uh,
funny you said that. But when I was in college, and I think I've told this story a few times before, but I was told that I couldn't write. When I was younger, I would enter the young author contest, and I
yeah.
would create my own books and write the story in it. And I really feel like my storylines had some really serious things. When I was thinking back in sixth grade, I remember my stories about a girl that went to college and she quit college, but her parents didn't know, and she was actually homeless. Don't know where a 6 year old got that. I was thinking that, I was like, where did I get that storyline from? Like,
That's
seriously, like, why
uh-huh.
was I writing about that?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I went to college, the professor told me that I couldn't write. And so I stopped. Really, I just only wrote in my journal. And it
Uh-huh.
wasn't until COVID 2020 that my back was against the wall with my business, and I really had to put it online. And I really wanted my descriptions of my products to be really different. Like, I wanted them to tell a story. So I had to, right?
Uh-huh.
It was during that time that I felt like I really rediscovered my ability to write, and then also write in community with a lot of people. And so I can understand her emotions behind that,
Yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
it's like, people tell you you can't do something, and then all of a sudden when you discover it, it's like this whole thing of emotions just like coming out, and you almost can't control it. Like, it makes me emotional even just kind of like talking about it right now. But
Oh,
to know that that's why you're doing what you're doing, because I've been that trap person, and to have a coach that's like telling you you can sing. And that's why when I
yes.
see people sing or perform in like opera or dancing, I'm like, inside, I'm like emotional about it, because
Yes.
people that are great at things, is always somebody that crushes it. And the reason why they crush it is because they see that you are good at it, and
Yes.
they're jealous, and they say something, and it destroys you for a long time, until it takes
Yes.
someone wonderful like yourself to come and to show them that they are a jewel. Like, they have it, you are good. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
so many more teachers and coaches and people like you need to flood the world.
Gotcha. It's because I tell you, it's like you had mentioned that you had stopped writing because that one person said,
Mhm.
and people will come to me and they'll say, my voice is very, they'll start singing, and I can tell it's there, but they're holding it back. And so one of the questions I always ask them, I'll say, has that someone told you that you can't sing, or has someone told you to stop singing? And then they'll proceed to tell me, they'll say, I had so and so, even sometimes it's their husband, my husband has told me they don't want me to sing around them, or I can't sing, or it's parents that have told them don't sing. And they don't even realize it psychologically, that they are holding, that when they sing, they're holding themselves back because they don't want anyone else to hear. Because if somebody else hears, then they may say to them, stop singing. And that is, and so that is what I'm trying to help them to appreciate. It's like, no, 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 no. It's We're going to help you to bring your voice forward. Don't hold it back. Don't keep it to yourself. Let it go. Just let it go. And once they let it go, the sound that can come out from them, it's amazing. It is amazing when they find that confidence and they just let it go, you know. And so it is just like you found, when you found your confidence and you just started to let it go, and now look where you are now.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Beautiful
And
thing.
it's almost like to me, and I don't know why you're on the podcast and I do this, and you always can correct me if I'm wrong, right? It's kind of like you are the prime candidate to be the coach because, when it comes to acne and living behind um, a skin issue that sometimes you don't want people to see, you
Mhm.
want to be masked behind, to be able to really see that pain in someone else is really easy for you to see.
Yes.
It's like you've been there, and so you've come out of it, and now you know how to help and be the main one to be the supporter of someone else who's hiding behind something. It's not how to be skin, but now it's a voice because someone said that you can't, and it's like
Yeah.
you're the one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Because I heard that a lot when I was growing up too. Because my father was a singer, and his sisters, my grandmother's beautiful voice, but they're told, not to sing, And so when I went to have my voice lessons, um, my teacher, that's the first thing she said to me. She's like, "You are so quiet. Why are you so quiet?" And it's because I was told, stop singing, you know, don't sing. And so that's why I'm so quiet. And that's man, it's like I don't think we don't realize that effect. Just those two words, don't sing, or those three words, you can't sing, have an effect on how we view ourselves. Because if we're going to hide behind our voice, what else are we scared to do? Because we're scared someone says, "Oh, you can't do that. You're not good at it. Don't do it." You know, it's just one of those things that prevents us from really moving forward because we're so scared that someone's going to tell us we're not good at it. I mean, it affects us so deeply, so deeply. The emotional repercussions of being told such a thing. It's huge. It is huge. And some people never climb out of it. They never climb out of it.
Mhm.
So
It's so powerful because there is a word, the scripture really, that says about how the tongue is like it's life giving and it's death dealing, because
exactly.
like you can say one thing to someone and you kill them inside by simply saying you
Yes.
can't sing, you
Yes.
can't write, you
Yeah.
can't dance,
Yeah.
and be
That's
like period.
uh-huh. Yeah.
That can
Exactly.
really put someone in a closet, a grave. I mean, like, not literally, but just like figuratively in their growth of doing something great.
Yes. Yes. Because those three things that you mentioned is spurred on by our emotions. When we can pour our emotions into those things, And it's like when you see someone who's singing and their emotions come out and they start to cry, you start to cry because there's all that emotion is there. But when you
Mhm,
tell someone stop doing the thing that they use to express themselves, then they're gonna close right up. They're gonna close right up because they've been told they're not good at the one thing that they're using to express themselves.
mhm,
So emotionally, it stumbles them, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
So it's
So this is wonderful conversation
yeah,
because it's self-care to be kind. It's self-care to be compassionate
yeah,
because it adds to our joy, but it helps other people to be able to thrive.
yeah.
You
It
know,
does. It does.
self-care is just so liberating because it helps your whole body relax and you can really be who you are. Self-care is just so deep. It's just self-care, it's more than bubble baths. I mean, hey, Billy and I, we make products, right? But it's
Yeah.
really is even more deeper than just products and slapping things on your face and getting in bubble baths and washing with soap and
It
lighting
is.
candles and distilling essential oils. I mean, it's just way more than that.
There is.
And I just want people to see that beyond the pandemic. And I think that really was cracked the whole self-care thing. People started to see like, whoa, I'm not really taking care of myself. But it's
Yes.
also beyond those things that are fleeting. Candle
Ye
burns out, essential oils are diffused, but
yes.
it's something that remains behind that we want to
Yes.
really have people tap into.
Yes. Yep. Yep. It's that that reaching out to others as well, because it makes you feel good.
Mhm,
It makes you feel good to even just give a kind word to someone. Man, it
mhm,
makes you feel good. It benefits both. And so yeah,
mhm,
it is so much more than just ourselves. It encompasses so much more.
mhm. Because you see that I seen I think it's on TikTok or somewhere, and someone's like, they just give people compliments and they're like driving
Yeah.
down, they roll the window down, they're like, "Hey, you look so nice today." And the person's like, "Well, what?
Yep.
How's it?" I mean, their stride and their walk changes, and
Yeah.
that's free 99.
Yep. That's it. That is it. That is it. Yep.
Do
It
you want
did.
to stay on somebody's mind like that all day, like free 99? Because you're going to make someone's day and they're happy and they're going to go on and
Yes.
make somebody else's day happy. I mean, it's just the domino effect, right?
That's it. That is it.
Mhm.
Yep. I'd say yeah, I saw that too. And it didn't, I mean, the person didn't barely had to slow down and roll down their window. That's all, they just, it was that easy. That easy to make
Mhm,
somebody's day. It really
mhm,
is. And
mhm,
especially in this time where we are hearing a lot of stories about just a lot of anger is being shown, you know. Especially if you work in the public, you're a public servant, so you're working with the public a lot. There's a lot of anger that's being shown towards people,
mhm,
and they have to get out of the bed. They got to get up, and you could be that one person that makes it all worth it that day.
mhm,
To
mhm.
be kind, be that one person. It
Yeah.
don't take much.
And I grew up in the East Coast DMV area, on the east side. And I just remember like being in school in like DC, and sometimes it got on your nerves, be like, "Hey, you look cute." Like I'm out west now and people do not do that. Like it was like not common. I mean, it was common in the city to be like a gentleman will say, "Man, girl, you working that hairstyle today?" Like it was like nothing. Like to be
Yeah.
like, you'd be like, first sometimes you'd be like, okay. But then you kind of got used to be like, oh well, thank you. And you kept on going.
Yeah.
But like out west, I haven't ran across that. But it's a thing in the east, on the East
Yes.
Coast, that I realized one day that don't happen out here out west. Like someone just
That's
be
it.
easy, like on the corner on the block, like, "Hey, girl, all right, we see you." You be like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, hey," you keep going.
Yep, that's it.
In those moments, I'm like, actually, you know what? That did kind of put a little more stride in your step, you know?
Yes. Yep, it does. It
I'm
perks
like,
perks you up.
like, okay, all
Yep,
right.
that's it.
Extra little hair, be like, oh, okay. But it
Yes.
wasn't it wasn't bad sending the drive for an extra little extra
Yeah.
hour or two.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
3 or 4, depending on what salon you were at. Before you married the natural lifestyle, be like, what? I ain't gotta sit under the hood for like 8 hours
I
with
know.
some spring curls.
Exactly. Yup. That's it. So
Yeah,
true. You're right. You're very
yeah.
much right. Now, I never even thought about that until you had just mentioned that. Yeah, that happens a lot on the East Coast, but not
Yeah.
here so much. No.
Yeah, not so much, but yeah, that's a whole nother day, another story, another little bringing a little bit
Yes.
more people into the collective conversation, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because yeah, that would be definitely a awesome conversation to have. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was a very um heartfelt conversation, and thank you so much for being the person you are, wearing your heart on your sleeve. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me, the time to talk about this, for us to discuss it. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, yes. And then, sometimes when you have a business such as yours, it is small, but definitely mighty. It takes one person to pick up Mineral 29 Organics and like it could blow up, So it's like in these quiet moments as your business is starting to build and have its notoriety with other people finding it. There's a person behind
Yeah.
the product that has this beautiful story. And I just think
Gotcha.
that it definitely has to be heard, And so I'm
Yeah.
glad that you did it.
Oh,
All
thank you
right, so
so
let's
much.
see. Yes, ma'am. Anytime. All right, so you don't forget me when you on the big glossy pages of
Okay.
magazines. You're like, hey. I'm like I interview. I have a podcast with her. Okay. Um. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pick one of my journaling prompt cards.
Okay.
Crinkled page.
Oh, crinkled page. Oh, what comes to mind? Oh, okay. So crinkled page. The first thing that comes to mind is, well, just writing something, and especially like with all the letter writing that we've been doing, and it's being
Mhm.
like, oof, that did not come out well. I would not like this
Did
if
I
I
write that
got
sentence
this.
twice?
I know exactly, exactly. Or it's like I can't even read this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think of when crinkle page. Yep, just kind of nope, toss it
Mm-hmm.
away. Just
Mm-hmm.
not good enough. That was
Mm-hmm.
not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially now with snail mail gaining more popularity because I mean it's something that we kind of computers came out, everybody went to electronic page and emails and things like that. But
Yep.
even before then, back in the day when I'm dating myself, and there's many people have a love of typewriting writers, right?
Yeah.
People have vintage typewriters, and then let's just think back
Uh-huh.
then how many crinkle pages we see in those old school movies where like the trash cans filled up with crinkled
Yep.
pages
Yep.
start oh no rip out of the typewriter crinkle throw it in the trash, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and sometimes we want to take a few pages out of our lives and crinkle it up and right.
That's it. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that wasn't good.
No, can I make that a crinkle page,
I know,
right?
exactly.
Think about some hairstyles. I'd be like, we go back to can we make this a crinkle page hairstyle? Yeah, I mean one
Exactly.
time I went and got a
Yep.
hairdo and you had to look it up for some people. I had to look up finger waves, okay? Some people don't have to
Oh,
do that. But I
no.
came out and I was like, look, only Missy Elliott can rock you this suave, not me. What did you do to my hair? Like that is a crinkled page hair moment, right?
Yep. Yep. I see.
Don't
I
give me
did.
Missy Elliott's
Yep.
hairstyle. I can't rock it. I was
Yep.
like, no, like I was upset. Right. It's one of those
Yep.
moments.
Yep. Those or if you say something to like if you say something to someone or you do something and you're so embarrassed by it, you're like, nope.
You're like,
Oh
oh yeah.
man.
Did everybody get quiet on that one? Can I crinkle
I
page this moment? Can I crinkle page this moment? Right.
exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be you know what? I'm gonna be using that now.
Yeah.
That
You're
was a
like,
crinkle
girl.
page
Yeah. You're like, girl, can you crinkle page that? Like, what? Can you just ball that up and
moment.
see? Okay, everybody. Journaling is beautiful, right?
Yep.
Verbally, you can journal out loud, right, with a friend. Now we can
Yep.
take this prompt, this crinkle page prompt, and now we can apply it to conversations.
Yeah. That we can. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we
Mhm.
can. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, good conversation. I love it.
Yes.
Love
Well,
it.
thank you so much, Miss Billie Coleman, for taking the time to come and speak with me and then my audience. And as this goes out onto the interwebs, I hope someone listens to this and they're moved and compelled to make something in their life a crinkle page. Also, to be able to allow their voice to be heard. And then
Mhm.
also, you know what, when it comes to realize loving your skin is part of self care. So, all these little conversations that we had today, we are just hoping that it will move someone to action.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciated this so much.
You're welcome. So, really quickly before we head out, I'll let you in your own voice let us know where people can find you online.
Okay. You can find me at my website is M29 Organics. My Instagram is Mineral 29 Organics. And I also have a Facebook page, which is Mineral 29 Organics. And on YouTube, which I have not updated lately. It's like 2 years old. But it's under Mineral 29 Organics as well.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, you know what? You know where to find her. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll love to hear what your feedback is on our conversation. If you have something you want to add, what is your crinkle page, right? What you want to just take and just toss to the side. So thank you so much. You know where to find us, Liberate and Lather. .com and yeah, it's just a wonderful time to share our thoughts and be together. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.